Ken, I failed you this week because, and I'm just remembering this right now as we start this video. I think I said I was going to look up your prediction for who the first four eliminated were going to be from a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
I didn't go back and look. So anyway, your four that were eliminated after three races, the first round. You ready for this? Drum roll.
Yeah.
Austin Dillon, Alex
Yeah.
Bowman, Shane
Yeah.
Van Gisbergen, and the poor Josh Berry.
Yeah, I think I had two of those. I held to the belief that Shane would get in. He brought enough bonus points with him. I thought he'd sneak in at least one good finish to get him over the bubble, but he didn't. In retrospect, I should have known better. But
I think you believed in Alex Bowman too, didn't you?
Very much believed in Alex Bowman. That one really, Alex, you let me down. I really thought he was gonna make a good run. He did post the second best finish Saturday, the second best finish of a Hendrick driver for the entire round of 16. So he has that going for him, and that was an eighth. They have one top 10. The three Hendrick drivers remaining had one top 10 and a combined 9 starts in the round of 16. How's that? I mean, how's that happen? I don't know. Circumstances.
You'd know better than I would, so if you don't know, I have no idea.
These things can happen. Now, it might go to complete. They might do what Gibbs did in the round of 16. They might turn right around and sweep the round of 12. You know, either one win a piece or one of the guys wins two, or hell, maybe one of them will win all three. In that case, I'm assuming it would be either Byron or Kyle Larson, but because Chase doesn't seem to show a whole lot of interest in winning anymore. Frankly, and Kyle didn't show any acumen. So it has been a long time. And those guys are, it's weird what's happening to them right now, but it's just sluggish is the best word I could use to describe it. On the other hand, you got Joe Gibbs racing. So
yeah, it's been a few months for Kyle since he's found victory lane. But it was a while for Christopher Bell before he won at Bristol on Saturday. He hadn't won since, he won those 3 straight in late February, early March. Then he comes out. He only leads 12 laps at Bristol, but there were some important ones. He takes that lead late, survives a bump from Brad Keselowski, and gets a win.
Bump.
Intentional bump. What do you want to call that? I don't
know, but guys have gotten on the horn to Dan Newland or Morgan and Morgan for less than that. My God, that was a full-throated that was a rear ending is what that was. And I would have lost teeth, I think, if somebody hit me that. But yeah, it was dead square. I mean, that was the good news. It was dead square, and he wasn't quite going into the turn yet. He was near it. And so, no, that would have been interesting if he had sent him for a loop, how that would have played out. But because it was a little obvious. It would have been hard to say, oh, no, I didn't mean to get into him. But he got into him square to square from front bumper to rear bumper. And, it worked out. If you haven't seen the video, go watch it. I've never seen anybody get hit that hard and not wreck. So, anyway.
Wow. I didn't know that's what we were dealing with. I mean, you can't necessarily fault Brad, right? Like, he's trying to get his first win of the year, even though he's not in the playoffs. But it is kind of funny.
I think trying to sneak your nose under the left rear quarter panel and, act like you're going for the pass. And, oh, my goodness, look, I just rattled his cage. Guys usually go for that subtlety a little more often than just the fun. And I don't know. I should have studied up on this to see what Brad said about it, because, I mean, he did hit him square and he didn't hit him through the turn. So it was, if you're going to do it, that's the place to do it. It was similar to what they do at Daytona and Talladega when they're bump drafting, except that just when they're going at a higher rate of speed, they might hit each other that hard, but it doesn't seem that they're hitting each other that hard because I guess they're going 185 or whatever instead of 115 or 120 or whatever they were doing slow going into that turn. So I don't know. It was quite a hit.
This is Keselowski to racer.com afterward. I thought I dumped him, and there's an exclamation point at the end of that sentence. I thought I dumped him. I was like, oh, that was harder than I wanted to hit him. Didn't even do a thing. I'm just pissed. We did all the right moves and just kind of got screwed on the last restart, and it sucks to be that close.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he dumped him too.
Exclamation point.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it again here. Who are the next 4 eliminated?
The 4 currently below the bubble heading in.
Do you want me to read those? You want me to read those off?
I think I've got it here somewhere. I think 2 of those 4. I think Chastain and Cindric will be bye-bye after this round. And I'm going to sneak up top and tell you what, I mean, oof. I mean, I hate to say it, but golly, I'm looking points abound. I'm going. Bubba Wallace has picked a bad time to do a little mini slump. He's been 3 of the last 4 or 5 races. He just hasn't finished well. And I'm just going to go ahead and pluck Chase Elliott out of there and just, I don't know. So Chase, Bubba will be my 2 surprise exits. And I'm looking at Austin Cindric and Ross Chastain as the other 2. Joey Logano survives again.
Joey Logano is going to work himself right in the championship 4. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked one bit.
I mean, he's Joey. He's pulling a Joey right now. He's back-to-back 5th place finishes in the 2nd and 3rd race of the first round of the playoffs. Gets in. You know, we'll see. I mean, would anybody be shocked if he wins a race here in the round of 12? No, you wouldn't. Yeah.
No. I mean, he was kind of just whatever coming into last year's playoffs, and then he rattled off a couple of wins and did his Joey Logano thing, and there he is at the end of the championship.
He got saved when Alex Bowman came in overweight at that one race, and that gained him a position and put him into the next round, and he went right out and won the next race to get into the championship 4. So, yeah, if Joey Logano gets into the round of 8, yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of people. I don't know if they're going to be upset, but they're just going to be wondering how it is that this team has the magic sauce, you know, in September and October.
And you didn't come out and say this, but like you're projecting Tyler Reddick to be into the next round. He still is without a win on the season, so maybe he wins one of the next 3 races.
When I was looking at the standings a second ago, I was giving him a little bit of the stink eye, but I think he's racing kind of angry right now. He seems to be on edge, and he seems to be, I don't know if it's the court case between his team and NASCAR. I don't know if that's doing it, or I think it's the fact they haven't won a race this year, and he's had a couple good chances. And I think it irritates him that he hasn't won a race because he fashions himself a championship contender and a multiple race winner, and I don't blame him. He does seem to be that kind of guy. So I think he's kind of racing with a sense of urgency. And I don't know what that equals in terms of horsepower on Sundays, but it can't hurt. And so I don't know. Now, you know, if he's 12th out of 12 after 3 more races, that wouldn't shock me either. But
sure.
But I just got a little sneaky suspicion about him. Listen, Chris, I reserve the right to be wrong on all this. Okay.
No.
Listen,
I obviously haven't done the research to even hold you accountable, even if I wanted to. So.
And I'm counting on that continuing.
It probably will. Will. No matter what I say right here, apparently. So.
Yes. As Gomez Adams once said, while he was defending the Adams family in court, he said, no matter the verdict, we will appeal. So I'm reserving that right.
Let's go to a segment I'll never appeal, Ken Willis. Do you have a show and tell?
I do, and it's every now and then I have to whip out a wearable.
Okay.
I have to go to the haberdashery and get a cap or a T-shirt or some sundry item from NASCAR Pass. And this time I even branched out.
Okay.
I don't think we ever said it had to be a NASCAR show and tell. I think it's more of an automobile racing show and tell. So I found this hat that I got years ago. Boy, howdy, it's pushing 30 years if it's not. It is whenever the first season of the old Indy Racing League, which is now just called IndyCar, and I think that's the Indy Racing League might be somewhere buried in a subtitle or something in the corporate paperwork. But they opened, I think it was some mid-70s, 95 to 97, somewhere in there. And I believe the first race was at the old the race course, the little triangular-shaped oval at Disney here in Orlando across the way. And we covered the race. Don't remember who won. Tony Stewart finished somewhere, I think, in the top 3. And I believe it was Mark Dismore, IndyCar racer and short track sprint car guy from years ago, an old friend of Tony Stewart's. That was the day they were talking about some move Tony made, And Tony wasn't Tony yet. We didn't really know who he was unless you followed sprint car racing, USAC, Silver Crown, and all that. So he had a niche following. And Dismore referred to Tony as God's gift to a steering wheel. And I looked at him, it was an old group press conference, and I realized that he wasn't just being sarcastic. He really meant it. And I said, boy, it's Tony Stewart. They're really high on him. Then I did some research. I said, well, I see why. And then before long, he came to NASCAR, and now he's in the Hall of Fame. So that was but anyway, they passed out these hats, lest anyone think I went to a souvenir trailer and came off the hip for 15 or 20 bucks. And to this day, I say it is the original Indy Racing League logo, in my mind, is the best logo in motorsports. It features the Indy car on a bank because it was going to be an oval track series, and it's got the people are probably familiar with that in some form or fashion.
Oh yeah,
but that is a cool logo, is it not?
Yeah, I've seen that one before. That rules. I love that.
Yep, that's a nice one. So that is a 28 or 30-year-old the old IRL, Indy Racing League hat. And I held on to it, as I tend to do. When I find a hat that fits his head, I'm not getting rid of it.
I was going to say, do you ever wear that wearable or no?
I do. It fits weirdly because maybe not.
No, it doesn't look
weird.
It
had the, inside it had the like mesh thing or whatever that holds almost holds it up like a trucker cap.
Okay.
And that was just going out of style enough. I didn't want to look like my dad with the trucker cap on, so I cut that out. So that's why it's a little odd up here, but who's not? It doesn't look any. Trust me, it looks better than I do with it off. So.
About 5-10 years ago, the trucker hat came back, right?
I just couldn't go to it. I know. By that time, I was probably too old because it came back for the kids, right? Younger generation, and I looked like the old guy trying to look like a kid. But I never liked. I don't know. I just never liked that. Never liked that tall billboard hat. And I've got a few old ones down there. I probably should have some old Masters caps and whatever. I probably should have broken them out when it became a thing again. But I don't know. Maybe it's come and gone, or is it still around? I don't know. You would know.
To be honest, as you can tell, I'm not the most fashion sensible here. So yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, and I think you're quite like me. I think you might have trouble finding a cap that fits too. So.
Oh, tremendous trouble. We got to be adjustable. All right. What do you?
What's embarrassing though with the adjustables, they want to is when it's in that last snap. The only way you can get it on is in the last snap, and then you walk around town. So that I check people out when I see a guy wearing the adjustable hat. Neither one of these has the snaps. And I'll count how many snaps he has. It'll tell me if he's like a 7.5, 7 1/4, 7 3/8. And I'll see that guy at that last little snap on the back of his adjustable. And I go, there's a 7 3/4 right there. So, all right. Getting away. Welcome to the club. Big old noggin. Waterhead.
Off-season topic. Who's got the biggest head in NASCAR? Never mind.
Jimmy Spencer used to, I believe. That was a big one. And it fit his neck, though, man. His neck, it fit right on that big bruiser of a neck that he had.
That looks natural, though. Like, as long as you're proportionate, right?
Yeah. You don't want to be a pencil neck geek, as what's his name used to say in wrestling.
And you don't.
Bobby the Brain Heenan, I think that.
Yeah. And you don't want to. I don't know that you want to be a Tyler Reddick with like a size 8 head, right?
Is he? I don't know. He's not a big guy.
I'm sure he's not. I haven't noticed him being weird, looking weird.
Yeah,
but
he's one of the diminutive drivers, but he drives big. That's all.
Oh no, absolutely. No, it's like me and my huge feet when I was 5'2" and in the 8th grade. Had to grow into it a little bit. I look silly
like a Saint Bernard. You had to grow into your feet.
Right, Great Dane, whatever you want to say. Yeah. Absolutely. New Hampshire up next. What are you looking
for? A slow race visually, because it's a flat track. It's a mile. They're going much faster than it looks like, but it's a flat track, and they gotta woe it down, go when they enter the turn. So it'll be a lot of handling, and brakes will play a role. Everybody's going to keep an eye on the tire situation, because the Goodyear tire situation at Bristol, nobody saw coming, and those things were given out quick to the point that they had to issue teams an extra set of tires during the race, by the way. And so everybody, I think, will kind of be looking and seeing if that's going to be the case again. So if that becomes the case, you might end up seeing what you saw at Bristol. You'll see some non-top 10 drivers finishing in the top 10 due to the fact that guys got a bad luck on the tires, a bad pit cycle or whatever. So anyway, I think a playoff driver will win, and I don't think it'll be Chase Elliott now that I'm done dumping on him for the rest of this podcast. I wish he'd come alive and start getting things done, because it's always more fun when he's running up front.
Poor Chase. Yeah, I won't dump on him then either. We'll leave that to Brad Keselowski. We've got Kansas, and then the Roval is the last two races in the round of 12. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see if SVG can continue his dominance at the Roval. We'll talk Kansas next week. Ken, that's all I got for you. Anything else we should mention this week?
No. I'm going to go look at all my ball caps that are hanging downstairs and see which ones are on the last snap. Make me sad.
All right, I'll leave you to it. And hell, I need to do the same thing. So this has been Daytona Motor Mouths. That's Ken Willis. I'm Chris Vanell. We'll talk to you next time.
Yep.